Here are 5 valuable lessons from the story of Rathanemi, Rajamati, and Rathanemi,
Incorporating key events and their deeper meanings. Lesson 1. True compassion transcends rituals and traditions.
Rathanemi, on his way to his wedding, saw caged animals awaiting slaughter for the feast. Instead of ignoring their suffering as part of a customary celebration, he felt deep compassion. Realizing that his marriage would lead to the killing of innocent beings, he chose renunciation over worldly attachments. Takeaway: true wisdom lies in questioning traditions that cause suffering and choosing compassion over personal desires. Ethical awareness should guide actions, even when traditions suggest otherwise. Lesson 2. Renunciation is a personal calling, not an obligation. Rathanemi, despite his engagement to Rajamati, understood that his spiritual journey was calling him. He renounced worldly life, knowing that attachment, no matter how beautiful or cherished, was fleeting. Rajamati, heartbroken at first, did not react with anger or resentment, but instead chose her own path of renunciation, proving that true detachment comes from within. Takeaway: a spiritual journey is deeply personal. One must listen to their inner calling rather than be swayed by external pressures. Renunciation should come from conviction, not compulsion. Lesson 3. True character is tested in moments of weakness. Rathanemi, Rathanemi's brother, was initially a monk but faltered upon seeing Rajamati in a vulnerable moment. His mind wavered, and he sought to convince Rajamati to return to worldly pleasures. However, Rajamati stood firm, rejecting the temptation and reminding Rathanemi of his spiritual vows. Through her wisdom, Rathanemi realized his mistake and regained his spiritual stability. Takeaway: true integrity is tested in moments of temptation. One must remain steadfast in their values and seek wisdom over fleeting desires. Even if one falters, redemption is always possible through self-awareness. Lesson 4. Self-respect and dignity define true strength. Rajamati, despite being abandoned by Rathanemi, did not let rejection weaken her resolve. When Rathanemi tried to persuade her to return to a worldly life, she firmly refused, saying that, even if he were as charming as Indra, she would not waver from her path. She compared spiritual purity to a serpent that would rather perish in fire than consume its own vomit, symbolizing the refusal to regress into a lesser state after attaining higher wisdom. Takeaway: dignity and self-respect must never be compromised. True strength lies in upholding one's principles, even in the face of persuasion or pressure. Lesson 5. Mastering the self leads to ultimate liberation. Both Rajamati and Rathanemi, despite their trials, remained steadfast in their spiritual pursuits. Rathanemi, initially wavering, ultimately embraced monkhood wholeheartedly. Through extreme discipline and ascetic practice, they both attained ultimate liberation, moksha. Takeaway: mastering the mind, body, and desires is the path to true freedom. While temptations and struggles may arise, unwavering discipline and wisdom lead to the highest state of existence, beyond suffering and attachment. These lessons, deeply embedded in the story, provide timeless wisdom on ethics, self-discipline, and spiritual liberation.